Welcome to the Fans Edge Sports Show. What's going on, everybody? Make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button. Helps us out with the algorithm and get more people in here, man. Go ahead, put your comments in. Let us know what you want to talk about. We will get to the chats in a bit, man. Week 3 was kind of dicey, right? We could talk about a little bit. Obviously, Tyler Van Dyke, prayers to him. He goes down in the Alabama game, Wisconsin versus Alabama. And, Alabama fans were so shocked in that game. They were like, we were able to do the jump around. It was like we own the stadium. And I'm like, wow, Ohio State does it all the time. So, congratulations to Alabama. They get to move on to 3-0, probably about to head into SEC play. And they got some good games on their schedule. So looking forward to that. Oregon, does Oregon have a pulse? Are they frauds? Like, I put them as imposters, right? I'm like, Oregon, definitely no way. In the rivalry game, they go ahead, put Oregon State out 49-14. Now, I think this was crazy. Oregon State just coming off of wins. You think that they could go ahead, keep up with Oregon? Nope, that's not what happened. But let's also remember this Oregon Ducks team, obviously it was with Bo Nix. They went ahead, took care of this Oregon State team last year, 31-7. So you can't be too much surprised in this, especially with Oregon State going in the rebuild. And like I told Oregon Duck fans, you better go look like a P4 team because Oregon State right now is nothing but a G5 team. And that's how I feel about it. A lot of people say, oh, well, they were in the Pac-12 last year. Not hearing it. Let's talk about that. Pac-12, what are they doing to stay alive? They're going to go, the Mountain West basically said, hey, we're not going to take your money. You need to join the conference. Pac-12 said, hey, we'll take the players from your conference. And that's what they're doing. And my thing is this. Let me know in the chat, how do y'all feel about this? Do you think that the Pac-12 next year with these teams can go ahead and solidify themselves as a Power 5 team? Or will y'all look at them as now, hey, you're group of 5, well, now group of 6? Because who are you adding to the team? Nothing but G5 teams and then FCS teams. That does not give you a good strength of schedule at all. Then you talking about an automatic bid? No, I'm not with that with the Pac-12. Just go ahead, let the group of 5, group of 6 have their own playoffs. And that's just where Oregon State, Washington State will be. It just is what it is. And I don't know about you all. Obviously, I'm not a big person in the AP poll, right? But it's out there. Texas moved to number 1. Georgia drops down 1 spot to number 2. You still got Ohio State sitting there at 3. As an Ohio State fan, I was hoping that they go ahead and continue to drop Ohio State. Drop us all the way down to 6 because we ain't playing nobody. We ain't playing no games. I don't matter. Go ahead, motivate my team. I don't want us to look like the number 1 team right now. I want it to ramp up and keep building up on the season, man. Now, let's go ahead and get into the chat real quick. Don't be doing Team Up North game reviews, bruh. Hey, that's all on y'all, man. I ain't even going to talk about your week 3 game. Even though Butch Jones was coaching scared for some reason, really could have been an upset, but we ain't going to get into that. We'll get into that a little bit later. Shout out to my guy, Johnny O. He always in here, man. And then we got people saying Pac-12 next year is just a rebound to the Mountain West. And you are 1,000% right. I agree with that. That's exactly how I feel about the Pac-12, man. It is what it is. So I want to go ahead and get into our week 4 games because I think we got some really good matchups coming on. And now, going into week 4, week 5, you're about to start getting into conference games, big time games. The cupcake games is basically about over for everybody except the SEC, because for some reason, Danny Cannell and everybody wants to duck on Ohio State for playing 9 Power 5 teams. We played 9 Power 5 teams. I see Tennessee fans want to say, oh, Ohio State got a weak schedule. Look, and then they play these 3 cupcake games. Oh, then you pull Tennessee schedule up. What do they have annually? 3 cupcake games. No one wanted to give Ohio State credit or give Ohio State the benefit of the doubt when they were playing 10 Power 5 teams and only had 2 cupcake schedules. 2 cupcake teams. No one wanted to give them. Oh, you got to go up against the ranked Notre Dame team. Oh, you got to go up against the ranked Oklahoma team. You actually held that against Ohio State for playing those type of games. Let's say Ohio State didn't do that. Maybe they get into the playoffs, right? They go ahead and put that little cupcake on there. Also in the Big Ten, we played 9 conference games. Let's say we didn't do that and we played the little 8 conference games, right? Let's say we do that. Well, maybe Ohio State don't have to play the Iowas and the Purdues, right? We could play this the soft schedule BS and everything flat out. If you play 9 Power 5 teams, you play 9 Power 5 teams. It is what it is. That's who you're scheduled. That's the conference. I don't want to hear, we play Alabama and we got Georgia on our schedule. Are you mad because you have not converted or have adjusted to your conference? You have been in your conference for 2, 3, 4, some of y'all 7 damn decades, and you're still crying that you have not adjusted to your conference. That ain't nobody else's fault but yours. Maybe you could take the Oregon State and Washington State approach and go join a damn group of 5. Don't cry about it. Be about it. That's just how I feel, man. Y'all can get mad at my take, but that's how I feel about that, man. Let's see what they saying over here in the chat. They getting into hey, Team Up North don't like no vacuums, man. I think that they done got away from the vacuums. They probably got robots cleaning their houses now, man. They don't do no vacuums. All the vacuums that they got was all broken, and they still sitting up on that porch up there in 2A somewhere. Yeah, HOA is definitely just writing tickets left and right. So, like I said, we got some big games. I do want to go ahead and start off. We got Utah, number 12 Utah, going up against number 14 Oklahoma State. This is what I say a preview of the Big 12 championship game. I think Oklahoma State and Utah are 2 teams just set up to go ahead and win this conference. Everybody is saying, hey, watch out for UCF. And I've tried to tell everybody, I think that those teams, the UCFs, the SMUs and all that, they are a few years away because they are not going to be able to sustain a P5 schedule throughout the entirety. Like everybody's like, they won these 1 games against. Yeah, it's 1 game. But when you're going through a P5 or P4 schedule with them trenches, it's different work. And they're just not set up yet. Now, have they been bringing in talent? Yes. But again, the game is run in the trenches. They are not set up for that. So, like I said, I think that this is going to be a big game. Everybody thought Cam Rising might be out for the season. No, Cam Rising will be playing in this game for Utah. Now, Utah is on the road, but Kyle Whittingham normally has his boys ready. They always playing good defense, complimentary football, and just the simple fact that, Utah had to go without Cam Rising, and it just seems like a different team when Cam Rising is in there. It's like they can do whatever they want. No team can really slow him down. Now, he cannot take hits. Obviously, it's a long season, but as long as Cam Rising is healthy, I really think that this is a preview of the Big 12 championship game. Our guy Terry's in here. What's up, Terry?
What's up, man? I'm sorry to get on here late, brother. I'm glad I made it though. What we talking about, man? What we got going on?
We're talking about number 12 Utah takes on number 14 Oklahoma State at Oklahoma State.
Number 12 Utah versus number 14 Oklahoma State. All right. Listen, can I just jump right in, man? You cool with that?
Go ahead.
All
I'm going to take my water break.
Yeah. All right, perfect. Sweet. So Cam Rising is playing, right? But when was the last time he played a game? Has he played this year?
Yeah, he played.
Then he got hurt. To Utah.
Yeah, okay. He played.
All right. But listen, I think with this game, I think the best player from either team is Ollie Gordon, right? So I don't know, man. I looked forward to seeing this because even though Ollie Gordon is the best player between both teams, Utah is not really the type of team that's just going to let somebody run all over them like that. And I said, I haven't watched them this year, but I'm going off of the past. But that's definitely going to be a fun game to watch because it does have big time implications for the playoffs, honestly, because somebody from the Big 12 is going to be in the playoffs. It's going to be one of these two teams for sure, probably. So what do you think about it? I don't know what I missed, so sorry about that.
Everybody talking about Isaac Wilson too in the chat, man. And if you don't know who Isaac Wilson is, man, your favorite Cougar hunter, little brother, man, is Zach Wilson's little brother. That's who Isaac Wilson is. He did get, I think, one interception, but he really did look good. I think that the kid is probably going to be the future of Utah and keep them rolling. So, I mean, like I said, the offense still just feels better because he has the experience in Cam Rising. Isaac Wilson is a freshman. Like I said, this is a big-time game on the road. You don't want to have to go to a true freshman. This is one of those games that I feel that Cam Rising is built up for. Now, you said Ollie Gordon. Where do I say that games is always won at? In the trenches. If they can stop that, stop them in the trenches, I think that Oklahoma State has always been shaky in the pass game. Like 1 minute they'll be on, another minute they'll be off. The quarterback's already coming out with 2 interceptions on the season, even though he has 8 touchdowns. But
doesn't he have 900 yards already too?
Yeah, he got 967 yards too. Yeah, but I mean he's thrown the ball like 112 times. I mean, Cam Rising only threw the ball 29 times and has 7 touchdowns and also set out a full game. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's hard to stop Utah when Cam Rising, like, even Ohio State had to deal with that dude.
Cam Rising's a baller, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's made for games like this, bro. And the fact that I think Utah still sitting 3-0. The fact that they was able to go out there, put that true freshman on their back as a team.
Yeah.
I mean,
hey, that's gonna be a banger, man. I can't wait for that one. If you had to pick it right now, who are you picking?
I'm picking. It's hard for me to pick against Kyle Whittingham, man. Like, it's hard for me to go.
I think I'm going to, Mike. I think I'm going to.
Nah, man. Mike Gundy be on that funny business, bro.
I think I'm gonna go with the best player on the field, man. Go with Ollie Gordon. I think he's on ultimately his talent and what they got going on over there. Because, like I said, I mean, they're throwing the ball this year too with that quarterback having like 900 yards. So I think Oklahoma State will win that game, and then that conference will get really interesting after that.
Now, I want to go ahead and we'll stick to the same network, Fox. There's another game. You got number 24 Illinois is going in to take on 22 Nebraska Cornhuskers and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, not Patrick Mahomes, Dylan Raiola, right?
Oh, snap. Yeah, man. Hey, that's another one, dude. We're not used to having big time games like this in the Big Ten outside of like the top, right? Because I think there's a couple teams in the Big Ten this year that could really be good. I talked to you a little bit before the show about Indiana. We'll get to that in a minute, but Nebraska is also one of those teams. I don't think Illinois is, but I think that Illinois could beat any team on any given Saturday. So, like, when you look at this weekend, I would imagine that Dylan Raiola is probably about to see the best defense that he's faced so far. And as a true freshman, what do people always say about true freshmen? Like, they can be good, but a true freshman can lose you a game at any moment.
Yeah.
So just by making those, young true freshman mistakes. So that is a game I can't wait to watch, man. What do you think?
I'm very interested. I think that this is going to be the true test for Nebraska. Now, I will say this about Nebraska. That defense is very salty. It looks really, really good. I like that defense for Nebraska. They're known for making plays and getting turnovers. And, that could be the momentum swing in the game. Now, like you said, Dylan Raiola, freshman, how is he going to look? Everybody's talking about him in the news and about him looking like Patrick Mahomes doing the exact same stuff. And then he's downplaying it. Like, is he going to switch up his routine, or is he going, is he going to be the same? Is he going to be too much in his head in this game? I mean, Nebraska is at home, so he does have that advantage. And I mean, you also have the coaches in your ear to calm you down. But like you said, this is going to be a Big Ten defense, something better than what you have been going up against. It's going to be a true test, and I'm ready to see what he looks like.
Yeah, same. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Like, that's the matchup for this weekend to watch in that game, is Dylan Raiola versus that defense, which we know Illinois' defense is not going to be like a top 10 defense or top 5 defense probably. But, I mean, they were a couple years ago when they had a couple NFL players over there. So they're at least going to be pretty good. And I can't wait to see what Dylan Raiola can do against them, man. I do think Nebraska will win the game out in the end, because I don't really think that – I think Nebraska also has a really good defense, like you were saying. Mm-hmm. So that team seems like a complete team that's not necessarily like a tier A team, but they're a complete team. They're good all around, and they just need to continue getting better. And I think they'll win this weekend against Illinois.
All right, man. Y'all hear it. Nebraska over Illinois, and they do got a 70% FPI rating. So I mean, we'll see. Like I said, we're all looking forward to that game. Now, staying in the Big Ten, I would say the biggest game that we are all looking forward to seeing would be that team up north taking on the USC Trojans right in the big house. Previous game, Davis Warren looked a little, not a little bit, very shaky against the Arkansas State Red Wolves, throwing 3 interceptions, making it 5 interceptions on the year. They end up putting Alex Orji in. He stays in for the rest of the game. And now they have named him the starter. So now you didn't have any BS going on. You just went ahead. He had all week to work as the starter. Is this exactly what the Wolverines needed? Was a change at quarterback? Will this fix all the issues that they have been having through week 1, week 2, and now week 3?
I would say this is what they needed, and they could still lose 4 to 5 games this year. Because with Davis Warren, they just had no juice, dude. And then you're going to put Alex Orji in there, which I think it is going to maybe spark the run game a little bit, which for them, that might help them not lose to some of the terrible teams that they play that, be honest, Mike, we all thought they could lose to just about anybody after the first 3 games.
Right.
Maybe putting Alex Orji in there will help them with that. They won't lose to like just about anybody, but I don't think that Alex Orji can throw the ball. There's no reason to think that Alex Orji can throw the ball. And he's thrown, I think all of his passes so far that he's completed have been behind the line of scrimmage or within like 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. And it was just dudes running wide open off of guys in the flats and stuff like that. So I think that Orji might end up looking like Davis Warren, but more athletic. And like I said, it's going to help the run game a little bit, but I still don't think that's going to be enough for them to, pull out like a 10-win season or something with how they've looked so far.
I think it's crazy that the Cam Newton 2.0 that we heard like preseason, now they've dumbed it down and saying that he's like Jalen Milroe. And I'm just like, bro, the disrespect to Jalen Milroe is insane. I I'll tell you this. I don't think that this is the fix that they need. But I'll tell you this. It could possibly help them in this game against USC. Because here's my thing. I don't know what we truly have in USC, right?
That's
The
the
LSU
problem.
game, a lot of people want to hype it up, but what do we really have? Like LSU getting bailed out by the refs to beat South Carolina, a South Carolina team that we know struggles. So, I mean, what are we really measuring USC on? I think we all know that Team Up North still has a good defense. We can say that. But I do want to talk about this matchup. Will Johnson versus the wide receivers. Because Terry, we've talked about this before. We've talked about how we've seen, what was it, Fresno State and these other guys, wide receivers, getting open on Will Johnson, just not having a quarterback to place the ball exactly where it needs to be. Do you think Will Johnson will lose some stock this game?
See, that it's a tough one, man, to say that he'll lose stock. Like, if you look back to the Texas game, he didn't really lose stock in that game because they kind of stayed away from him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln Riley can do that too. So I'm not going to say he'll lose stock because they may just keep it away from him and still put up 35 points. But Mike, see, I'm with you on this. If they don't, I think that Will Johnson can be put on the hub. I 100% he can, because that quarterback can make the throws, and they got really good wide receivers over there. There's already going to be a lot to look at and a lot of like window dressing with Lincoln Riley's offense.
Mm-hmm.
So that creates confusion as is. If they think they're going to put Will Johnson on an island and blitz and not have any safety help and all that stuff, letting him do different things other than just play man, he's definitely going to get cooked. It's gonna happen. And I do think that Will Johnson this year is not going to make enough plays to where if he gets cooked a few times, then that definitely could start impacting his draft stock, because he's not going to be put in the positions he was put in last year to make big time plays. Think back to like our game. He got that interception on Marv. Like, okay, that was a cool play, but like that route is exactly what he was designed to cover with that defensive call. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's going to get an interception there. I don't think Wink is going to put him in positions like that, and he's going to have to do it with just his talent. And I could definitely see his draft stock slipping some as they continue to play these teams with good quarterbacks and wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, and then also, what are you expecting to see out the offense? Because like that's where I think that the Team Up North can have an advantage of. The offense is just completely different. It's obviously something. Maybe a couple plays have been put on tape, but not everything that they have in their arsenal of orgy, because obviously they're going to have to let that rip. They're going to have to show everything of what you are. And again, we don't know. My biggest question mark this preseason coming in about USC is, are their trenches ready? Now,
right.
I mean, we laugh at that Team Up North trenches because we know it's not up to Big Ten standards. And that Team Up North, they know it's not up to their standards either, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when has USC trenches under Lincoln Riley been up to standard, period?
Never.
All right.
Never. So, and that's the thing, right? That's the thing with this game. I haven't really been talking too much trash to Michigan fans about them losing this game because I have no idea what USC has.
Exactly.
And I understand that they beat LSU, but again, that's a team that can be terrible sometimes. You know what I mean? And it may just be a bad year for them. Especially when you talk about like the trenches. LSU is one of them teams that I know they have like a good offensive line, supposedly 2 first-round tackles, all that good stuff. But, they're a team that could really sometimes just be down. So we don't really know what USC is, and that's just a fact. Michigan's going to have to open the offense up with Alex Orji, but I don't think it's going to help. I don't think they're going to win this game. I really don't. I think that USC's offense is going to be able to score. And a lot of the stuff that Michigan's doing, or a lot of the struggles that Michigan had offensively, was not just because of Davis Warren. Their offensive scheme is not as good this year. Their O-line is awful this year so far. They can say they looked a little better, like, okay, cool. But and me personally, and maybe I'm just hating, Mike. Maybe I'm just hating, but I don't see it with that Mullings dude. Mullins, whatever his name is. I don't see how he's going to go crazy against a good team. And the one good team they played this year was Texas, and he had 40 yards. I don't know. I don't think they're going to be able to score enough to keep up with USC, man. I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I think it's going to be who's able to get more stops. Whoever is going to be able to get more stops is definitely going to end up winning this game. And like we said, we don't know how the team up north offense is going to look like, because here's my thing. Now that you have went with Alex Orji, you have no backup plan. If he goes out there and throws or turns the ball over 3 times, right?
Go back to Warren.
You can't.
You can. You can. I mean,
you can't.
He
got like 5, 6 interceptions on the season. You already benched him. You obviously. Here's the thing why I say you can't, because normally, right, you got your starter, right? This is your starter. You're getting him ready. Boom, you're able to go ahead and throw your backup quarterback out there, get him just a little bit of reps, right? But now the guy who you had told us is not the starter is now going out here and he's having to take all of the reps. Because I'm telling you, do you really think that Davis Warren really got reps this week?
Not with Alex Orji starting.
Yeah, because you got to get Alex Orji ready. So that's my whole thing. Like, you're going to you can't send Davis Warren out there. So you got everything riding on this. Everything.
And I know that's the way
it is. In week 4.
Yeah, man. And I think that it's going to go probably a little bit better than what most, I would say, like Ohio State fans think, but it's probably going to go worse than what Michigan fans think. You know how things always tend to land in the middle. So right. I could see him throwing maybe 2 interceptions, but not like 5 or 6. You know, I could see him maybe throwing 1 or 2 balls that you're just like, oh, well, he's got talent, but also missing 6 or 7 of them. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. This game is so fun to talk about just because, like you were talking about this game a second ago, you said it's going to come down to whose defense gets more stops. So you're insinuating that it's going to be a shootout. Do you trust Michigan to get in a shootout?
No, that's what
I'm saying.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, if USC gets more stops, like, they obviously win the game. That's just how I feel. But again, we don't know. Like, I know USC has an offense, but again, I'm worried about the trenches. You know, now USC is gonna get theirs, but can that team up north stop them enough from them getting theirs to stop and minimize the big plays that they're known for getting? That's and that's my biggest, because if they could do that, keep USC, like, I really think any team's game plan is definitely keep USC's offense off the field so that they don't get in the rhythm.
But USC's offense is a lot like Texas's. That's the problem. That's where I think they're going to run into an issue, because they're a speed. Lincoln Riley's offense is very similar to Steve Sarkisian's. With the way he's he's making you cover the entire field. And if you don't cover the entire field, somebody's going to catch the ball and run for 40 yards. You know what I mean? And also they can take the top off the defense. I don't think that Michigan's going to be able to adjust to that, dude. People can say what they want about, like, the talent level that Michigan has on defense, but when they played against Texas, they got out-schemed. And if you get out-schemed against a team that is as talented as you're screwed. And USC is as talented as Michigan. So
I don't know. Texas, hey, them boys had what's his name? Mason Graham knees touching. That boy knees was touching, boys. It was a little bit more than ski. The boys got physical. They put hands on them boys. Now, before I do want to talk about Ohio State 5-star linebacker, I do want to talk about that. But you said you wanted to talk about Indiana. Something about Indiana is intriguing, Terry. Talk about it, Terry.
Indiana has a really good quarterback, Mike. I don't know if you heard of this kid. His name is, I think, like O'Rourke or something like that. I forget his name because I didn't even get a chance before I was already late. You know what I mean? Didn't get a chance to look at what I wanted to. But his name's like O'Rourke, something like that. He came from Ohio University. Dude, if you watch this kid, he looks like, to me, he looks like Will Howard on the field. Like, just like Will Howard. I mean, and when I seen it, I was watching their games. I hadn't watched them, obviously it's Indiana. I'm not keeping up with Indiana a ton, but they brought that coach in. Where he came from, what, James Madison? I think
I'm not even
Signati.
sure. I'm
Man,
over here.
I have to look that up. I'll look it up in a minute. But anyway, he came from there and he brought a lot of players with him. They got speed on that team, man, and that quarterback is good, dude. I like from what I've seen. I watched their game against Michigan State, in their other games, but that quarterback they have intrigues me because having a good quarterback can win you games, and they have it, dude. He's really good. I promise you need to, if you haven't got a chance to watch him, and everybody in the chat, if you haven't watched Indiana, please go watch them play and watch their quarterback. He looks like a veteran. He moves around the pocket well. He throws dots. I mean, he's in control of that team. That could be a dangerous team later in the year, dude. Especially, I see somebody in the chat right here. Steve said Indiana will beat Michigan convincingly. Now, I'm not going to go that far. All right, I'm not going that far, but I do think that they could beat Michigan. I do think that is something that could happen, especially if this Alex Orji project doesn't work out, because then they're going to kind of be screwed. Like you said, they don't really have nowhere to go. So that was really all with Indiana. Mike, I'm sorry to interrupt you. That was really all with Indiana. I was super impressed with their quarterback, dude. And you guys all need to go check him out because that kid is good.
I'm going to have to go check him out. Right now in the Big Ten, he's sitting at number 2 in QB rating, and he is sitting at number 3 in completion percentage. He has no interceptions, only been sacked twice, and he is also number 2 in average yards per attempt. So
my thoughts when I watched him, Mike, was
he had in yards. Top 4 in yards. Number 4.
My thoughts when I watched him was that's a top 3 quarterback in the Big Ten. That's what I thought when I was watching him play. That's why I felt like we had to talk about it. I feel like nobody's talking about him. He's not getting the media attention that maybe he deserves. But they got a good coach down there now and a good quarterback. And that combination can win you a ton of football games.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to go ahead and talk about this linebacker, man. So Ohio State has a linebacker, Riley Pettijohn, that is playing out of McKinney, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been checking out his games. It's the second time I went and checked out his game. And I mean, again, like every time I go and I then watch the game, all you do is see this young man flying all over the field. You hear him, you hear his name over the loudspeaker, making plays all the time. And then you also see him on special teams. This guy's on kickoff. He's the first one down there, faster than the Gunners, and he's just making plays. Now, you saw, if anybody keeps up with him, you see it's his bye week. He's been working out hard in the gym, just stay grinding. And I will say this, I think that he might have to work on his stamina, though. Coach Mick going to get him right. But also, I will say this, at Ohio State, I don't think it's going to be an issue because they're not going to ask him to do all the things that he does. Like, dude's running off on kickoff, like, way too much for me, man. And I'm like, dude's the biggest guy almost out there on the field, man. And he's playing middle linebacker. I do want to go ahead and play this one video. Doesn't have it. I don't took the sound out because it'll be too loud, the bands and all of that. But my family's been going because, I wanted to check out a lot of the high school games and some of the players. And then my daughter, she's in Dallas Junior cheerleaders. So she wanted to see like the drill teams and all the girls. So she ends up taking her pom-poms and stuff out. And we just have a good time as a family. And my son's sitting there watching football with me. So I want to play this video. This is to give you guys context. McKinney ends up taking the lead in this game. They're up by, I believe, 2 points. And it's coming down last play. They got to make a defensive stop, not let this team score. Here it is. And I think I point to the scoreboard on the video like I had a camera on the scoreboard. Here it is. Yeah, so right there. They up by 2. And you're going to see this kid just go in there and just make a play. And then it's like, yeah, he could go tackle him. But watch what he does. Watch what he does. Boom. Hand on the football. Give me. And I mean, the young man's just continuously out there making plays, cheering his teammates on, and that's what you just like to see, man. I love watching this kid, and every time what I see is he's not just hyped when he's making plays, right? He wasn't even hyped that he caused the fumble. He was more hyped that his teammate recovered the fumble. And he's always like that, cheering his teammates on every time they're making a play. And dude's a real leader out there on the field, man.
I love that, man. That's an awesome video, Mike. You recorded that yourself?
Yeah.
What's up,
for
man?
Sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So at the end of the game, I was going over, was about to take pictures, and his dad saw my shirt, Fans Ed shirt that I had on, and my Ohio State hat. And I introduced myself to him and let him know, he asked me about the podcast, and I said, yeah, best damn media. And he was like, hey, do you want to take a picture with Riley? I was like, sure, why not? And we ended up taking a picture together. So, shout out to the Pettijohn family, because, some people, when you hear about some of these parents where it's like you can't even can't even speak to them, things like that. That's not the vibe that I got. They just real humble people, was asking questions, when me and my family got down here, things like that. And, I enjoy meeting them. So shout out to them. Hopefully maybe we can get that family right here on the Best Damn Network, man. So hopefully stay tuned, because I'm definitely planning on checking out some more games like they played Plano. They're going out to, I think Allen comes to their house, but if anybody knows about Allen and that big stadium that they have in that football program, so it should be a good game. So you got anything else for us, Terry?
Nah, man, I don't really got nothing else. Unless you want to talk a little bit about Ohio State.
Yeah, man. Hey, let's go, man.
Down to talk about Ohio State.
Buckeyes are back. We got Ryan Day, Chip Kelly, and Bill the Thrill gave a press conference, man. I'm not sure. Are they going to talk to the players tomorrow, or are they talking to them tonight?
I don't know. I think tonight.
Yeah, it might be tonight. Yeah. So I end up checking that out. But what did you think about what Ryan Day, Chip Kelly, and Bill Howard? What interests you from what they were saying?
Man, anytime I listen to Will Howard talk, it interests me, honestly. I feel like he just carries himself like a veteran, especially in front of the media. You know what I mean? And he looks like he's having fun anytime he's doing media and when he's on the field. So I don't know, man. I've grown to love Will Howard, and I was like one of his biggest critics when he was coming here. So nothing bad to say about him right now. Just got to continue seeing him develop with the deep ball. Honestly, man, Chip Kelly and Ryan Day, I feel like there was nothing really like that stuck out with what they were saying. Yeah. I also think that Ryan Day seems a lot more loose this year. He's willing to talk about some more things that he wouldn't be normally willing to talk about. And Chip's the same way as Will Howard, man. He just looks like he's having fun. Even when he's in press conference, he's cracking jokes. And I think that Chip let it be known that there's still a lot more that they can get into with this offense, especially in the run game. Because Chip did acknowledge the fact that the offensive line looked way better from week 1 to week 2. And it's going to be interesting this week, because now we're going into week 3 and we're going to have a new starting left guard, which is our actual starting left guard. So they may end up having some like kind of hiccups, where offensive lines take a little bit to gel. You know what I mean?
Right.
So hopefully they don't, and hopefully Donovan Jackson will just fill right in and everything will look good. But I'm just glad that Chip Kelly acknowledged that he saw the improvement in the offensive line, because that's obviously one of the biggest things that Ohio State needs to win this year. We need the offensive line to play up to par.
Big facts, man. And I'll tell you why I don't think that there's going to be any issues on the offensive line, man, because Donovan Jackson's a pro, man. He's been here. I don't think that with him being out there should be any issues. But I'll tell you what really gives me confidence is the simple fact that Will Howard brought up Seth McLaughlin and was just talking about the way he takes the reins, the way that he talks to the guys, the way he incorporates himself. I think we have not talked about him enough as a transfer here because the way he is spreading his expertise onto the rest of the offensive line, I don't think it's just helping the starters. I think it's the reason why we were able to see Austin go out there and look well, while Tegra is able to go out there and look well. Like, I really think that he is the coach on the field for the offensive line, bringing that experience. So that's why I don't think that we're going to have too much of a dip off. And Ryan, they had to go and tell these guys, remember your technique. Think about who you have been doing this against.
Exactly.
In practice.
Hey, real quick, Mike, on Seth, I think maybe he's having a little bit of an Iggy effect on that room.
Hey, man.
And if you're an Ohio State fan, you know what the Iggy effect is.
Yeah.
Iggy came in and changed the defensive back room, the culture, the mentality. And I think Seth McLaughlin is having that impact on the offensive line room. I even referred to him, I think, in a tweet as possibly the biggest pickup that we got out of the portal. And you look at Alabama, they're still having some snap issues down there. So I don't know.
It's the common denominator because it ain't my boy Seth.
Right.
It ain't Seth. We ain't having nowhere shells.
And he's looked good with that so far. So as long as he keeps that in check, the dude is a dog on the field, man. He's a dog.
Yep.
And, we talked about this, I think, last week, how anything you ask him to do, he's going to do it. And he's going to try to exceed expectations and go even farther. Big time pickup, dude. Not too much else to say about it. That was a big time pickup by Fry and Ryan Day.
And I got to go ahead and give my guy a shout out, man, because a lot of people don't know this, but I know someone who's like an extension of the family of Caden McDonald, man. And so I'm always sending him like updates and everything about Caden and everything. Like, hey, this is what they saying at Ohio State about him and stuff, man. And just to see that where this young man has came, because all we heard preseason, we was hearing about Jason Moore. We was hearing about Hero Canoe. Last year you was hearing about Malone coming in from Ole Miss, and now you hear Caden McDonald. When you look at PFF grades, not saying that they are all that, but this guy's probably one of our top defensive tackles. The guy continues to make plays when he's out there. He looks like the true number 3, and I don't even want to call him number 3 because at this point, he could be like defensive tackle 2A, 2B, right?
You're right. Dude, he looks like a beast out there, man. And I just love to see that, dude, because he's like, when he plays aggressive. He plays super aggressive, and I love that. You know what I mean? I think sometimes I see with Ty Hamilton, he don't look too aggressive, but with Caden, man, he looks like Tyleek reincarnated out there, and I love it, dude. I don't know what else to say about it, Mike. I love that, man. I think we're deep. We're deep on that defensive line, and K-Mac is going to be a big part of that because I think he's the first. He's definitely number 3. He's the first one in after Tyleek and them. So,
yeah, and our guy Ryan was on Bleacher Report. If y'all haven't checked Ryan and Chris Drew out, go over to Bleacher Report. Make sure you check those guys out. Best damn media, man. We everywhere. You can find us everywhere. Again, make sure you like and subscribe to the video. We are on Twitter. My bad. We are on Twitter.
You're trying to put us on the record.
We on everywhere, man. So make sure that you are tapped in with us for sure. Because what they were talking about over there was just the simple fact of like the way Jack Sawyer is coming on in his defensive line, and it's like, who do you double team? Because any of our guys, you don't want to have to use a running back. We already know JTT bull rush is nasty, Jack Sawyer bull rush. Like it'll be a Joey Bosa and a Christian Hackenberg all over again. So I mean, it's really pick your poison with this Ohio State team and its defense. I'm really looking forward to watching this game on Saturday against Marshall. Shout out to the guy the head coach for Marshall, man. He was out there putting all that rat poison out. I like that. See if our team is paying attention. But I will say this. If you are looking to hit the transfer portal, he did put something out there. I'm just saying.
I thought that was cool as hell. I don't know if he was supposed to do that, but I thought that was just a cool thing that he did. He's like, hey, I would like to have some of their players. We can get y'all some of that them biscuits.
Yeah, hey, shoot. I went and actually looked at the menu. Hey, my thing is this: if you're on the bench and you ain't doing nothing, might as well go see what that is talking about, bro. Because he said all you can eat whenever you want to eat. So go ahead, get it in before it's gone, man. But Terry, I ain't got nothing else, man.
Me either, man.
I want everybody, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. We are here every week talking about college football. Catch Ron and Q every morning. At 8 a.m. talking Buckeye Rose. And then catch us on Sundays talking Ohio State football flagship show, 10 a.m. Oh, and Ron and Chris are on, I think, Bleacher Report for the post-game show. Catch me and my guy JR Rankins on the Mark Rogers. Go over there, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know we go live right after the game, man. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. And we are out of here.